Welcome to episode 2 of my Tokyo series. Last episode, we went to 3 iconic pop culture destinations, linked on top if you missed it. In this episode, we're going to continue exploring Tokyo from the most popular spots to some hidden gems. Let's get started. We actually stumbled across this mall, NeWoMan, by accident. The only reason we even went was for a cafe I've been dying to try, but I'll save that for a later video. A security guard pointed us toward the 28th floor, which is part of this area called LUFTBAUM, and I have to say, the interior totally blew us away. To our surprise, we found this viewpoint with an actual mini bamboo forest inside. It fits the mall's aesthetic perfectly, and honestly, you just don't usually get a view like that from a shopping center. I would have loved to hang out at that bamboo viewpoint longer, but we had another one booked, Shibuya Sky. Ideally, I would have timed this for the sunset, but I'll be honest, I totally missed the booking window. If you want those sunset views, you really have to plan ahead. Find out exactly when your window opens and book it the second it does, otherwise you'll miss out. The entrance is on the 14th floor of Shibuya Scramble Square. Like a lot of spots in Japan, they let you in at a very specific time, so don't be early and definitely don't be late. One thing to keep in mind, you can only take your phone and camera out with you. Everything else has to go into the lockers they provide. It ended up being pretty windy and chilly the day we went, so we didn't stay as long as we'd hoped. But on a clear sunny day, it would be such a vibe. Next stop was the iconic Sensō-ji. As you'd expect, the street was absolutely packed. That didn't stop everyone from trying to grab a photo with the iconic giant red lantern, though. For us, we just took a quick video and called it a day. The real reason we were even there was to hit up a specific dessert shop, but I'll save that for another video. A friend actually sent us a reel of cherry blossoms already blooming, which was a huge surprise. We didn't expect to see any sakura in February, but apparently some of them started to bloom early. We immediately added a few photo spots to the itinerary, the first being the Kawazu Sakura trees right next to Tokyo Sky Tree. There were only a few trees, so we had to be patient and wait our turn for a shot. It was one of those moments that reminded me of the limits of a smartphone camera. Without an actual zoom lens, it's tough. But hey, for a photography amateur, I'm still pretty happy with how they turn out. The other spot we found in Zabudai had way more trees. You can get some really pretty shots of the blossoms with Tokyo Tower in the background, though it's a bit of a challenge to frame it right because of the massive building next to it. Zabudai is actually this brand new fancy neighborhood with some really nice malls, We stumbled upon a market hall full of fresh produce and restaurants, and ended up having the best hamburger patty I've ever tried. I'll definitely be talking more about that in an upcoming video. For now, we're heading to the one place that's probably on everyone's Tokyo bucket list, teamLab Planets. teamLab Planets is an interactive art exhibition with many spaces to explore. To access, you'll take the train to Shin-Toyosu Station. Now, since this is a really popular attraction, expect to see crowds everywhere. When we arrived, we did queue for about 15 minutes, which is not too bad, but once we're inside, there are a lot of people. Now, we came in the afternoon, so that is to be expected, but the crowd does make it a bit hard for you to take good photos. Once we're inside, we went into a locker area where we need to put all our bags and our shoes into the lockers. And yes, you'll walk barefoot throughout the whole exhibition. Once you enter, you walk through a room that is sort of like a river. Basically, you're walking through chlorinated water, and then you'll be given towels to wipe your feet and continue on. And then you'll be led to travel through different rooms, and each room provides a different sensory experience. Some rooms are really dark, and some rooms are quite spectacular. So for example, this one called the Infinite Crystal Universe, which is essentially a bunch of LED string lights that are coordinated. There are also these sound effects, which kind of sounds very magical, but once you stay in a room long enough, you start to get tired of it. And there's this room filled with giant balls that change colors, and it's really fun. Just look out because some people might push a ball behind you and you'll easily lose balance. There's this room, which is a dome-shaped room filled with projections of falling petals. While some find it really pretty, I do find it a bit dizzy after staying in that room for a few minutes, so we moved on. And there's also this room in which the water goes up to knee-high. It's basically like a koi pond with swimming koi fish projected onto the water. And the really fun thing is that you can actually interact with the fish. Once you come into contact with a fish, it will turn into a bunch of flowers. So it's kind of fun, but I was really careful not to slip because you don't really want to slip in this room. For people who are really active, you'll definitely have a lot of fun in this room climbing these colorful steps. There's also a lot of interactive elements, so for example, you can draw something and have it projected onto the screen, and there's also a room in which you can use an app to catch and collect extinct animals, which I'm sure kids will love. Then after a bunch of really dark rooms, eventually we made our way to the floating flower garden, which is basically a bunch of flowers moving up and down. It's a bit hard to walk around because you'll be avoiding hitting the flowers all the time. And also, photos you take might not look as good as those you see on the website, simply because the flowers are not in full bloom. Then finally, there's a garden with all these egg-like installation, which reminds me of alien eggs. But I think in the daytime, they don't really look that much special, but I'm sure they look gorgeous at night. So overall, I would suggest spending about 2 to 3 hours. And if you want to take good photos and post on Instagram, this place is definitely for you. If you have kids, definitely come. They'll have a great time here. If you don't like crowds, pick the earliest time slot you can get. I think for 4,800 yen per person, I say it's acceptable for a one-time visit. So that's it. Be sure to tune in next time as we dive into some of Tokyo's must-try food spots. I'll see you in the next one.